Hey guys, so with the new ban list and new format, I thought I'd bring some Cyber Dragon rank replays as usual. And so as for the deck list, I think the main deck is pretty much the identical as what I brought about a month ago almost with the deck profile video. So if you want more card by card description, you can just check that out instead. I'm not really going over any cards here in detail. The only thing I think that changed is really the side. I am maxing out on the Lancias now. It's certainly a very good hand trap right now. And if you saw my recent analytical videos, you'll see that this is very popular. Still going with 2 draws. 3 would be ideal, but there's just not enough room. And Ghost Ogre is also another popular hand trap right now, so I was sort of trying it out at 3 and replacing the Nibiru's with them. Of course, Nibiru is also surprisingly, in a way, still very popular, so I might still put it back. I'm not sure. I'm kind of working things out here, and the rest are the same. So with that, let's just get right into the replays. Alright, so this first replay is against Sky Striker, and I am forced to go first because I did lose the die roll, so that's unfortunate. And honestly, on Dueling Book rank right now, if I'm ever forced to go first, I'm just gonna pass because I am going to assume that it is Sky Striker. It's certainly a very popular deck, so, and you know that they are not gonna kill you, so I just let them do their thing and hope that I draw like a back row removal, or even if not, I just find there's no reason to try to set up anything. They'll try to break it and everything. So here you do see that they're doing their typical Sky Striker plays, attacked with the Hayate, and then just now going into Kagari to pick up that Widow Anchor that was dumped, and then going into Shizuku and just setting one and passing, and that's totally fine with us. We can't really stop that anyways, and he's gonna get access to that engage. So for turn we draw the hers, so that's really good. So we'll just start off with the soldier hers combo. And maybe I should just fast forward a little bit here, but I will pause it relatively shortly. So we'll just start with that and go into Nova. And then we're going to use Nova's effects, and it is going to get met with a Ghost Ogre, which is fine. And if you started with, let's say, for example, All Mirage, or like a normal summon, and then you have the All Mirage, you could technically protect it, but sometimes it's actually fine to let that Nova die. It really depends on your hand. For us, so Nova's effect still does resolve. We get that Cyber Dragon, and we also bring out the Rampage through Nova's effect. That's 2 level 5s, but we are still going to use, well, at least attempt to use the Rampage's effect to dump. It is negated by that Widow Anchor. And again, we're going to go into Nova again. So its effect is a soft once per turn. So you can essentially think of it as like a once per turn per copy. So we can do it again. And then now we get hit with Nibiru. So he is really not letting us play. So it does get met with the Nibiru. But fun fact, this effect is actually not once per turn. So Nova, you can we'll bring out our only second target, or last target, which is Mechaba, and now we can use up our normal summon and get the core, and we're just gonna try to kill him right here. We'll go into that Link Spider with that token, go into Anaconda, and you know the drill. We are sending that Dragoon, or Red Eyes Fusion rather, to bring out Dragoon, pop and burn for 3k, and so that would be game. So we're gonna go straight into game 2, and we are yet again forced to go first for game 2. Our hand is not good, and we're of course just going to pass as well. And the only reason why I'm siding Droplet against this matchup is really purely because of DPE, and that's really unfortunate, right? Because prior to DPE being released, I could just focus my side deck cards on just back row removal cards only against Sky Striker, and that was really great. But now you have to sort of balance things out because DPE is very, very strong. So he's going to do, again, his typical Sky Striker plays, going into that Ayate and attacking, and now he gets the dump, and he'll dump that engage. And then go into Kagari, use that effect, and just add back that engage. And then go into Zeke and just going to banish himself, which is smart because otherwise I can just contact fuse it away and he's not going to be able to trigger the Ray, for example, if he had it. And so Cyber Dragon, it does have a really good matchup against Sky Striker. The Machine Dupe is met with an Ash, but we do have the second one. It's not once per turn, but he does have that Widow Anchor, so now it is no longer considered as a Cyber Dragon, so we have to bring out the hers. And we're just going to bring out 1 instead, rather than 2. And then at this point, I am actually triggering the hers still and just getting that other hers engrave. And then we'll use Anaconda, and we'll bring out Dragoon, or at least try to. Unfortunately, it is met with an Imperm. I'm just scooping there. Not really much I can do after that. So we are going into game 3, and of course, I get to finally go second. And so he's also just going to pass, and you'll notice that I'm still playing the Call by the Grave. I didn't side it out even though I'm going second, and I do this when I'm going against decks that play DP or Scythe, for example. It's still really, really good, and that's really actually my main focus with Call by the Grave rather than hand traps, although it's of course a nice bonus. So we're going to go, maybe I'll fast forward here because it is a standard play. We're going to do the Galaxy Soldier Hers play. and get the Soldier and Cyber Dragon, and then go into Nova, overlay, into Infinity, and into Anaconda. I am trying to use the effect here, but he's actually asking me, he has a response on the summon. So he has a Nibiru. This is where you get very concerned because you know he has like an effect failure or gamma or something, and imperm in this case, because otherwise they would not have let you get this far. And this is where you can neg quite hard because now you don't have anything else. So we're just going to set those 2 cards and hope that we live. He's going to start off with the Area 0. We are just going to banish that, which is great with Cyclone rather than something like Twin Twisters, because then Area 0 would go to the grave and they would get access to Array. So he's going to go into Zeke and just banish that token. It is pretty big. And then he's going to go into Hayate, attack for 15. He's going to dump that Widow Anchor and go into Kagari, use that effect, add back the Widow Anchor, and then go into Shizuku, set 1 and then face. We'll just Ash that. It's not the greatest impact, but you know, might as well. So this is actually looking pretty good. We're going to blow away the back row. We're going to use Core's effect. He's going to Ash. I was thinking of possibly letting it go, but it's fine. We'll just call by it. We are going to go for the kill here, and we're going to summon out that Naxter and Naxter's effect. We will bring out the Nova. We are now locked into machines. We'll go into that Infinity, and then we'll go into Mega Fleet and just overload for a game. And we'll bring out the Rampage, and of course with the effect we'll send 2 and be able to attack multiple times. So that's it for that replay, so let's move on to the next one. Alright, so this next replay is against some pile of a combo deck. I'm not sure if this is a deck that people are calling as based on like the acronyms. I can't remember what they stood for, but yeah, it's quite the deck. He's gonna start off with the Faithful, and I'm not sure if this was the right play to Ash. I mean, perhaps I should have just waited until he had access to the Water Enchantress. I'm not sure. He is gonna use that new card from Batch, the Illusion guy, and he's going to put that a card to the top of the deck, and he's going to have access to Magician's Soul. So that's going to be something that you're going to see a lot nowadays. It's really good combo. And then now he's going to be able to trigger that Faithful and get the Draco back. I always just assume it's like an ostrich. It's a really annoying card though. It's really good, and especially being able to bounce back Floodgate. So this package is just insane and super expensive for a reason, I suppose. And he's going to use Small World as well, and he's going to have access to the Red Rose Dragon. It's having a hard time loading here, and then now he's going to summon that, and he's going to go into Herald, and that makes droplets much worse, because any monsters that you're sending, you have to send it from field now because of Herald, because it forces you to banish it, and you can't do that under droplet because you have to be able to send it to graveyard as cost. So it just makes things really awkward for us. And now he's going to go into Halqifibrax, and then this is also where people are clamoring that, you know, Halqifibrax or Auradon should be banned. Honestly, like, essentially you can kind of think of like a bunch of cards from Dual Overload set being so overpowered, Auradon being one of those cards. And now you have the Death Spot coming back. This is something we saw a lot back when Infernoble was tier 1, and they still, I believe, would be using this path, but now, you know, most combo decks seem to be using it. So we are using that Auradon effect, or rather my opponent is, and popping that Yazi and bringing out the Mare. I always thought Mare's effect was really cool. It's sort of like the seahorse that's like just like creating this like mini seahorses. So he's going to use that effect and bring out a couple tokens. And perhaps I should just fast forward for this combo. I mean, it's pretty long. So he's just gonna go into a bunch of synchro plays, bring out the Chaos Ruler. He's gonna be able to mill 5 and take 1, and you'll notice that the other monsters have to be banished because of Herald. So we're gonna start off with the core. This gets pretty tricky with the Herald, like I said earlier, especially because it also tributes itself to negate. So now we're actually going to go into Almosh, and we're just gonna try to negate the Savage and Herald that way. And so now we do fortunately have a good extender, so we're going to get the Galaxy Soldier with the Repair Plant. And so we'll just try to start with the Nova and, or rather Nova Infinity play. We do have to be cognizant though that he does have Nibiru, but he also had effect failure, so I just scooped it. There was just no way I'm winning that. So we are forcing my opponent to go force still, hoping that we can draw some kind of hand traps. We do have Imperm. You'll notice that I'm still siding in Droplet. I know it's not as great against the Herald, but I have no choice because I don't play Dark Rulers anymore. So we're going to fast forward again for this. He's going to start off with the Small World, and now we have the Water Enchantress, and we get that Brave token engine going, or rather Adventure token, I guess, and the TCG. And so he's going to have access to the Griffin Rider, which serves as that Omni Negate. And he's going to just go into the typical Hulky Fibrex play. And now he also has access to Baron, so no need for the adventure token stuff. Basil Rose Shoot, I think it was a pretty relatively new card, or maybe I'm wrong. Someone correct me if I am. He's going to try to go with the Dagda for the scythe play. Perhaps I should stop fast forwarding here. He is going to trigger the Hulk, because otherwise then I can just contact fuse it away. This is another thing to watch out now that a lot of decks are doing with the shooting Riser Dragon, so that they can foolish Fairy Tale Snow, which is very devastating against a deck like us. Book of Mooning is really high impact, and he also has the Ash. This guy has just a ton of stuff. I was really surprised he actually scooped when I activated Machine Dupe. I think on res he should have actually just brought out the Fairy Tale Snow and Book of Moon the core, knowing that, you know, whether I have Machine Dupe or trying to go into Almars, like, it would prevent either of those approaches. But fortunately for me, he did scoop, and we'll just fast forward again. And he is going to go into Hulky Fibrex. I'm trying to ogre this so he can't go into Auroradon at least. But unfortunately, he also had to call by the grave. So, you know, sometimes it doesn't go your way. And we just watch him combo off. We keep drawing droplets in this match. So, you know, the rest of my hand is clearly not great. But we'll see what happens. So he's going to go into the Riser and Book of Moon. Or rather, foolishing that Book of Moon and Fairy Tale Snow. So we do have to watch out for that and just make sure to be aware of that. And don't forget. So now we are going to just special the Cyber Dragon and attack over the Herald. Fortunately, that Herald is pretty weak in terms of defense, and that's what I typically used to do, and except now that Fairy Tale Snow is legal, I can't do that easily anymore. So unfortunately, it's going to get Book of Moon. And so I have no idea how that card became legal, but we are going to not contact fuse, but droplet it to negate. And then we'll try to bring out that Cyber Dragon back. You could do like Nova Infinity play here as well, but instead I'm like, you know what, let's just go for Dragoon, even though I have no cards left in hand, so I'm not going to be able to negate, but hoping that it would be hard for him to out it. So we do summon the Dragoon, and unfortunately he has Nibiru, and like I said, we have no cards left in hand to be able to negate anything, so our boy is going to die. And so unfortunately we are left with the token with nothing else in hand. He even gets to trigger the Herald, and this is where that Illusion of Chaos becomes really good as a package and engine to draw. And so now we'll just have to pass turn. And so he will start off with that Illusion of Chaos so that he can get access to that Magician Soul. And then he would have to put a card back to the top of the deck. And then now he has Small World. Or did he put the card back? I'm not even sure. Honestly, it doesn't even matter. I was not winning this. So that's it for that one. So let's just move on to the next replay. Alright, and now this next replay is against Dogmatika Invoked, and of course we are going second. We have the droplet, so that's pretty nice, and we also have Overload Fusion along with a way to go into Nova Infinity, so that's always a nice bonus. And so our opponent, of course, will start with the Meltdown and get access to the Alistair. Perhaps I should fast forward here. These are pretty standard line of play. He's actually going to go into the Fleur. Now, I'm not sure if this was a mistake or if it was some Galaxy Brain play that I'm missing here. I'm not sure why he didn't just go into Mecha Buff first by banishing the Fleur and the Alistair, and then bring out Dragoon, because obviously now you can't special summon after using Anaconda's effect, so I'm not sure what the reasoning there was. We do have the droplet, so we're not worried about Dragoon's effect at all, but he is surprisingly letting a lot of things go as well. But we'll just wait until he tries to negate something, and then we can just use that droplet, and we'll just get over this pretty quickly. He may have hand traps, probably. This deck does tend to play a lot, but I think because we also hard drew the Overload Fusion, I'm pretty confident we can play through a lot of things. So we're going to go into that Infinity now, and then at this point we will try to bring out the Soldier so that we can have the bodies to go into Anaconda as well. And then at this point he uses Overload. He tries to negate it now. I mean, I'm not sure why now. I think it should have came a lot earlier. And so of course we do have that droplet, and we're just gonna resolve that Overload Fusion, and we'll also pop the Meltdown, and then we still haven't used Anaconda's effect yet either, but we'll of course we'll use Rampage effect first, sending that core and hers, and then Anaconda's effect will bring out our own Dragoon, and we'll just pop and burn and attack, and a super game. He doesn't have Nibiru, doesn't matter, we have the Infinity, and so we will just negate that, and he is just forced to scoop there. And so now game 2, he is of course going first again. Drew Dark Magician, not great, but Lightning Storm and Imperm, I mean, well yeah, if we're going second card, you know, not bad honestly. So he's gonna start with the Meltdown like the professional Dogmatika Invoked players will, and so we will Imperm that, and then he will go into the Almirage and has the Nadir's Servant. Well, he should technically send the monster from the extra deck first, but he will send the App Cologne, which will give him access to that Schism. And then now he has to discard a card. And he's going to drop the Ash. So in my head, I was thinking maybe he had 2 Ash in his hand. That's why he's just willing to get rid of that one. He's going to add the Fleur, so that means we have the Monster Negate to watch out for. So we will start off with the Cyber Dragon. Surprised that he didn't just trigger Almirage to get rid of it and protect Ecclesia, but now we can Contact Fuse. And as expected, he is going to Fleur the core effect. And so we are, the core is negated. So at this point, I'm like, you know what? Okay, let's try our luck, see if he doesn't trigger Schism, but of course he will. And of course he will be able to bring out that window, and Anaconda unfortunately is a dark, so it's going to get sent to the grave. And so now at this point we are just gonna have to pass. So Winda, because it was summoned through a Schism, it cannot attack directly. Always remember that. Of course, the Fleur and Ecclesia will be able to attack, and that 500 attack boost each time, it adds up. So we're gonna go with the Repair Plant, and we'll just add the Jizakuru for that Winda. But we will start off with the Lightning Storm first. I'm always scared of the back row, and so we'll get rid of that. Was the Droplet, and so we'll Kaiju the Winda. Now at this point, Winda will of course trigger, and he'll just have access to the Schism yet again. And then we're going to try to use Core's effect here. Our hand is not great, and remember we also already lost the Anaconda, so you know, it's hard to grind from there. We're going to trigger Her's effect now and get access to the Cyber Dragon. And then we're just going to suck up that Jizakuru with the Anima. That's why you always make a habit of putting it in zones 2 or 4. I accidentally sent the Anima to grave there when I'm trying to attack. And so we will just do a little bit of damage there. And so, you know what? We're doing it, guys. We're crawling back. So he's just going to set one, which I assumed will be the Schism that he added off of Winda. But again, you know, not looking too great. We're just going to add the Emergency at this point. We're going to use Overload Fusion. Unfortunately, went with the Lancia. That really sucked. And so now he does have the Schism. And Lancia, like I said earlier in the intro, it's a very popular card right now, and you're just going to have to get used to it. Unfortunately, Core's a light, so it really works in favor for him. And being able to bring out the Construct and sending the Core to grave, he's going to be able to place 2 Fleur. Anyways, I just scooped there. So we are going second. And so we have the Red Eyes Fusion, which honestly against control decks is actually not bad drawing it, even though we're typically trying to OTK, playing the Emergency. We don't have any monsters on field, so we don't have to worry about the Imprim Calling in case anyone's triggered by that. So Red Eyes Fusion, unfortunately he does have the D barrier, so I can't even summon it, so that really sucks. My hand's not great now. So we will just have to pass turn there. He's gonna of course start with the Alistair. We'll just Imperm that, and he's just gonna poke for 1,000. So it looks like this game's going to be a bit of a grind, and he'll set his own. Not looking good. Just need one more light monster though to at least make some kind of play. He's going to start with the Meltdown, have yet another Alistair in hand, use that effect, and now he'll have access to the Invocation. Goes into the Almirage, and then of course the Secure Gardener. And he'll use the Invocation and bring out the Mechaba by banishing the Alistair and the Secure Gardener. And then he'll just be able to bring back the Alistair back to hand, and Invocation will just go right back into the deck. Totally fair, by the way. Sarcasm, of course. And he's going to attack with the Alistair, and then Mechaba. So now we draw the Core, so that's really good. So we are going to have to Mechaba, or Kaiju the Mechaba, because Core's effect is mandatory. So then Mechaba most likely will negate it and banish it. So you can't just like choose not to activate Core, you have to activate it, unfortunately. It is met with an Ash, which is good for me because we have the Machine Dupe, but bad for me that he still has another interruption in Forbidden Droplet. So like earlier I said, Core is now no longer considered Cyber Dragon, and we do have to bring out the Core rather than the original Cyber Dragons. So we're going to Contact Fuse away the Jizakuru. I mean, I know that some of you would preferably leave that so that you can pop and burn Dragoon and deal a ton of damage, but sometimes if let's say they have like an effect failure or something and your Anaconda gets negated, then now you have to deal with this 3300 body that you just gave to them. So sometimes I like to play it safe, and I'm actually going into Rampage instead anyways, because I'm trying to set up for the overflow, and you'll notice I didn't actually add the Core with the Hers. Instead I'm adding original Cyber Dragon just so I can have multiple targets. Well, I shouldn't say targets, just so I can have multiple monsters I can banish off of Cybernetic Overflow in case I need it if he sets multiple cards. So for turn, he of course has the Alistair, and he's going to add the Invocation, use that effect, And he's going to be able to bring out the Agoides, which is a great because he's just going to be able to pop my card. And then he's also going to try to pump his attack a lot just so he can attack. Technically, he didn't even have to because already with 2,000 over 500, that's 1,500. But this is where that overflow is coming very clutch, and I am just going to pop that. Sadly, I only ever ended up getting rid of one card, but you know what? It's fine. And now we can actually sort of quote unquote go off because we do have that Soldier's and hers play. So we'll just, you know the drill, and we're actually just going to add back the core now in the grave, and then we'll just add the soldier, and then our opponent looks like he's just drawing there and he just scoops. So let's move on to the final replay. Alright, so this final replay is against Virtual World with some the Punk engine, and this one only ends up being one game because he just quits on me afterwards, but I thought I'd showcase it anyways just because it was a kind of fun board breaking type of game. So he's going to start off with the Punk stuff, and I'm just going to fast forward here, and basically that's going to add another Punk monster, and then this one adds the trap, which is it serves as a monster negate, and they become easy hockey 5x for that Aurora Dawn combo. He's kind of skipping a step here by just leaving the Death Spot there, of course, because it's going to special itself when the tokens are summoned. He's going to go into that Juju, and he's also going to get access to the Lulu, and just start off with the Virtual World plays, dump the Qualoon, or rather add the Qualoon. And so he's going to go into the token, so you know that the Crystal Wing is coming, and also most likely invoke Kaliga. That's how they typically do things. And so he's just going off and getting the GG, and then dumping the other, the Chooch, and another, no, he can't do that. He's going to dump the Qinglong, and going into that Muddy Mud Dragon, and that's how they get into that Invoke Kaliga, which, so basically Crystal Wing serves as the monster negate, and Invoke Kaliga makes it so you can only attack once, and only activate monster effects once. So we're going to pause here. He also has a Shenzhen, a pop, we know that trap, which is the set that he added, which is a monster negate. So basically, you know, based on my hand, just maybe you can take a quick pause here and just sort of puzzle out how you would approach this thing. And so for me, I'll just show you what I'll do. The Chooch pop is really strong against Cyber Dragons. We're going to have to get rid of that. And also the monster negate, might as well. So I'm not going to bother using Lightning Storm on the monsters. Another thing you have to consider is because of Shen banishing cards that are on the field, you can't just droplet and send cards on the field that you activated as cost, which is normally ideal so you don't neg as much. So basically, you're going to have to banish, or not banish, you're going to have to use the cost purely from the hand because of Shen's effect, because droplet sends as cost. So that's how you have to do it. So otherwise you wouldn't have to neg as much. We're going to use the core effect, and we're going to search the emergency, and now we've used that one effect that we're allowed per turn because of that Kaliga. So we're going to contact fuse away the Auroradon. You could have also gone into Fortress, I suppose, because it's a machine, and we're just going to get rid of that Kaliga so that we can start activating effects again. And so now we will add the hers. So our hand was pretty good, and now we can get the Galaxy Soldier, and I'll fast forward here. And so now we can do our Soldier hers play and get the Cyber Dragon and Soldier, go into Nova, and then use that effect, and then go into Infinity and bring out Dragoon, and then perhaps I can pause here now. And so now at this point we can technically pop both and deal a lot of damage, but I'm actually going to suck up that Shen because otherwise it's just going to keep coming back, right? So it's better for you to just hold on to it than letting them have it and keep coming back. So now he's going to start off with the Qinglong. Virtual World is very well known for playing Gamma, so I'm trying not to play into it. Of course we didn't see it earlier, but anyways, so we will he will go with the Nyan, and then now with the Lily. At this point, I'm like, you know what? Let's just start negating things here. And so he is just going to go into Phantom Breaksword and just attack over that Anaconda. And he can go into Zeus. I don't know if he didn't have room for Downer Magician or anything, because now he has to stand, and now he only has one material, which means he can't Zeus again, which for Cyber Dragons that's just easy to get rid of because we do play Chimera Tech Fortress. So I suppose that's why earlier I definitely did not go into Fortress, but rather Mega Fleet, because you want to save the Fortress for either the Jizukuru or your opponent's Zeus, which Virtual World is known to play. And so we'll just bring out the Infinity first, set up our negate, and then we go Contact Fuse into that Fortress. He's only at 3,800, no need to do anything else, not that we really could do anything else, and just attack for game. And like I said, he does quit here, but I just thought I'd showcase that as well. Alright guys, so that was it for this month's Cyber Dragon replays. Hope you enjoyed that. I'm actually playing a different deck now for the first time since I picked up Cyber Dragons, so maybe if I do well at some random tourney I can showcase what I've been testing out, but until then, maybe I'll sort of keep it as a secret. Either way, don't worry, I'll still bring Cyber Dragon content moving forward. Take care guys.